A Star Trek Enterprise sequel? Hailing frequencies are open. Let's talk about this one. Hey everybody, it's your buddy Admiral Teague. For over a year now, my community's been diving into Star Trek Enterprise with weekly reviews every Saturday night, video essays, and discussions. So when whispers of a sequel to Enterprise started floating around, it captured my attention the moment the story decloaked. About 3 weeks ago, just before a major Comic-Con, this sequel talk first surfaced. The timing? Perfect. The project's creator and some Enterprise cast members were slated to appear, and the rumor mill was churning. Naturally, the cast was all smiles, saying they'd love to jump back into their old roles. I mean, who wouldn't want a gig like that? I thought, okay, but this is probably just Comic-Con hype and actors who wouldn't mind getting some work. But here's the kicker. 3 weeks later, the story is still alive, and more folks are talking about it. So what's keeping this warp core humming? For one thing, a channel with a lot of subscribers called the Tachyon Pulse has pushed it hard and presented it as being a really strong possibility, if not a fact. Here's the thing. Everyone's sourcing on this is inaccessible, and so is the Tachyon Pulse. The channel only goes live to its paid community. Fair enough, but there's no sourcing for the videos I've seen from him that are public. So just how the Tachyon Pulse gets this information is a question that's sort of paywalled off. As far as I can tell, no word of how they get this information has ever leaked out from any of their community members either. It's like a well-guarded secret. So while the public videos from the Tachyon Pulse present exciting wish fulfillment-based ideas, I've kind of written off using them as a source for a while now. Looking at their page now, this channel is regularly dropping blockbuster news about Stranger Things, the Warner Brothers cartoons, the Paramount Sale, the Orville, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, both flavors, and now a spate of videos about Alien Earth. So I have some reservations about some of the sourcing of this, especially when it comes to citing the Tachyon Pulse, which, as far as I know, has never revealed where any of the information has come from. A lot of the reason this story has legs and it's getting so much attention is because it's just what people want to hear right now. People want old Star Trek back in the worst way. The big catalyst? The Paramount Sale finally got approved. Huge news. And let's be real. Alex Kurtzman's vision for Star Trek, it's not just failed to launch, it's left a dent in the franchise's legacy. His idea of Star Trek is a vaudevillian, pre-radio era, singing and dancing musical review. Yeah, the kind of thing anyone born after 1970 only ever caught as a skit in a nightclub, played for laughs because it's so deliberately campy, but with no awareness of the actual concepts of irony or satire. Look at how Alex Kurtzman sells Star Trek to people going into the San Diego Comic-Con. With a bad interpretive dance skit in the parking lot? It was 11 minutes of awkward moves on broiling asphalt with a crowd too stunned to clap or jeer. Trust me, when the guy who thinks that is Star Trek rejects an idea, it suddenly gains a ton of credibility. So with Kurtzman's rejection acting like a nitrous boost that money could never buy, this Enterprise sequel idea is picking up steam. Here's what I've heard. It currently exists only as what's called a treatment. Think of a treatment as like an elevator pitch that's designed to spark interest in and especially garner funding for a project. It's how a lot of movies and TV shows start, but it's still just that. It's an idea. Now, Scott Bakula has apparently been keen on this one for a while, though, and him not shooting it down adds some weight. But let's be real. Being asked at a Comic-Con with the potential of it putting hundreds of more people online to get his autograph, he wasn't going to say no at that point, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the cast was thrilled he didn't slam the door on it either, because everybody got to sign a few more autographs, make a few more bucks, and hey, gotta eat, right? So that's where we're at. Star Trek Enterprise sequel concept. It's dusted off from a couple of years ago and getting new life because Paramount's bosses changed, and the new ones might see Kurtzman's moralizing misstep as a waste of a once profitable IP. If this sequel happens, what's the best we can hope for? First off, nobody wants another inept 10-episode streaming show.
10 fucking grueling hours.
A full-length season or a one-off streaming movie, now that could work. You can easily imagine President Archer navigating around the early chaotic days of the Federation, probably with Hoshi by his side. Sounds kinda cool, right? Ideally, though, we'd spend a lot of time with Captain Trip Tucker on a new ship, or even better, a refit version of the NX-01. I'd keep Archer in a mentor and advisor role over the missions, like Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, or Al in Quantum Leap. Otherwise, this risks just becoming the West Wing in a Star Trek skin, and that's when you have to remember that trying to have it both ways is what destroyed Star Trek Enterprise the first time around. A good but dark and complicated plot for Deep Space Nine and a weird convenient end to Star Trek Voyager had really tarnished the franchise, as were the not-so-great underperforming middling Next Generation movies that just never did anything spectacular at the box office either. Enterprise had a really weird mandate from day one. Be Star Trek and appeal to Star Trek fans without being too Star Trek-y and turning people off. It never got the syndication boost that gave other Trek shows a second life, which is a big deal since rewatchability is a franchise cornerstone. Sure, it's gaining traction on streaming now, but I think that's because it's 4 seasons of solid Star Trek that feels fresh to fans fed up with the moralizing nightclub act vibe of modern Star Trek. And you can easily skip the theme song. Could this be a series? Maybe. A streaming show? I hope not. A TV movie? That might be the sweet spot. If it's a West Wing style show with decent writing, legacy fans will probably tune in, but it's got to overcome its underdog status and prove that it's more than just a nostalgia grab to reverse the Kurtzman curse. I guess the biggest issues of concern to me are, first, this is heavily based on stuff from the last few Enterprise episodes of the final season, including their very controversial and unpopular series finale. Second is, it's pretty hard to see the wife of a man who made $139 million a year to decide to go back to work. So I'd just forget about seeing Jolene Blaylock, aka T'Pol, in this. That in itself really diminishes the idea because Jolene's performances as T'Pol were regularly a highlight of the show, and the relationship between T'Pol and Archer, and the friendship, loyalty, and dedication they shared is a big part of the Enterprise dynamic. So bringing back Connor Trinneer and Linda Park would be a key component to making this show work at all. So the pieces are there, and Michael Sussman has the qualifications and the Enterprise connection to write this show. But I'll say this, it's really good PR. They've got the conversation going, talking about things other than Kurtzman's Star Trek, while there's Kurtzman's Star Trek littering Paramount Plus, dropping fresh like the fresh droppings it is every week. Ironically, one of the things people hated the most about Star Trek Enterprise would be great for a sequel. Because Star Trek Enterprise is a prequel to all other Star Trek shows, and the movies and TV shows that were made by Kurtzman and JJ happen after, it's actually still canonical in every iteration of Star Trek you could think of. So you could make this project and kick the can on the decision of the future of the franchise. It's the best possible idea to do right now, but more than anything else, it's great publicity. Tell me what you think. I'd love to know. Leave me a comment. Tell me if you liked Enterprise, and think about joining me on Saturday nights for my Star Trek show, where, like I said, we're still doing Enterprise. I'm Admiral Teague, and I'll see you out there.